Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. My name is Matty Collins, and in today's video I'm super pumped because we're talking about my favorite camera of all time, well, that I've ever owned, is the A7 IV. I've had it for 10 months. Today I'm just going to be going through a list of things that I absolutely love about this camera, some points of contention or concern for not picking it up. And then, yeah, I'm just super happy to be back. I haven't done a sit-down video like this with you guys in a really long time. I moved last week. I'm in Victoria, BC now, so this is my new studio. And yeah, super excited to be talking with you guys. Let's dive in. Really quick before we go any further in the video, I do want to say if you stick around to the end of the video, we'll be talking a little bit about the new releases from the Sony Alpha team, what was just dropped, what I think about these cameras, just like a quick little summary on it. But today is the A7 IV after 10 months of usage. So for me, it's been my go-to camera. Unfortunately for me, I think I got a lemon. There's something wrong, and I'll get into that in a sec, but it's like I have a defective camera, I believe. So I'll be talking about that a little bit later. It's my favorite camera of all time, best full frame camera for money on the market, I think, but mine has this defect, which I'm not too pumped about. So I'll share that in a bit. All right, so first, let's talk a little bit about pros. This is an amazing hybrid camera for photo and for video, so that's why I love it. I love the price point that it comes in at. I think it's super reasonable, and the hybrid functionality of this thing, it's a 33 megapixel sensor. I can crop in on my pictures. They're all amazing. But like, honestly, video was like a selling feature to me. I know there are some issues with rolling shutter, so video first people would go the A7S3, maybe the new FX30 if you like APS-C sensor cameras. But yeah, it's really not affecting me too much as I am a hybrid shooter and just kind of getting into video. But the quality, that 7K downsampled sensor is absolutely nuts. And it can pick out the threads on the fabric of the shirts I have. So I just think that's unreal. The 4K, this is my first time having a 10-bit camera. So 422 10-bit is absolutely absurd. I think the modification, the flexibility to change colors within, in post is absolutely incredible. So that's been a lot of fun to mess around with. I think if you have a camera that's like 420 color, I think the difference from 420 to 422 is not massive, but I did come from an 8-bit camera, and still my drone, the DJI Mavic 2, not the S, still shoots in 8-bit color. So I think having 10-bit is just a game changer in any capacity. We talked a little bit about that 33 megapixel sensor. It's just unreal. I love the dials on it, the customization, the new menu, and specifically like that toggle switch from from photo to video. I think that's kind of an underrated feature, and I'm happy that Sony came up with that before the release of this camera in December of 2021. So it's almost been a year that this thing's been out. So yeah, that's another pro. Awesome lens selection. I've talked about this on the channel before, but in 2013, that E-mount system started, and look at us now, like almost 10 years later, decade later, I can still pick up some awesome glass for cheap, whether it's used or third party. Not everyone likes a flippy screen, but it's definitely for me as a hybrid shooter. I think photographers are not really about that life, but honestly, welcome addition. It's definitely not the A7R5's new like next level flippy screen. Well, it has like every kind of tilt. I think that thing's so badass, but yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're still watching this video, thank you so much. Be sure to like the video because it goes a really long way in helping me get noticed and just sharing, stuff like this. I love sitting down and talking to you guys about cameras. So that's what this channel's about. And thank you for being here. Cons. Okay. I know a lot of you guys want to know a little bit about the cons, and after 10 months, how I feel about this camera. Nothing like super limiting to the point where I'd say, don't buy this camera, don't pick up this camera. So I am going to go over the things that the internet is like on about, and then I'll talk about like my personal usage and why I can get a work around it. So 4K 60 crop, number one, wasn't a deal breaker for me. I know a lot of people like that scares them when they're looking to pick this camera up. And rightfully so, but in a lot of situations you can use your feet, you can move back, you can use a wider lens, and I understand there are situations indoors that you would get stuck. So for me, I haven't run into it yet, but I'm not a full video focus production company. In that case, you'd probably be rocking the S3. But anyways, that's 4K 60 crop. Overheating concerns, yeah, definitely, especially early on when this camera dropped. I think just me going into the menu system, changing that high temp gauge, I haven't had much issue with that whatsoever. But again, the internet and people who use this camera a little bit more in hotter climates or for longer periods of time, maybe you're using it as a B cam and it's set for a wedding in a hot climate. You know, summer is like hot wedding season. So someone's giving a speech and it's something to be mindful of. You would have to have someone like checking it, but I personally have not encountered the overheating issues even in hot climates. To get the best quality out of this camera, this is a downfall to me. You're gonna want CF Express cards or at the bare minimum V90s, and they're both super expensive. So yeah, definitely that's something to be mindful of. Storage is massively expensive, and you don't get the best bit rates on this camera if you don't purchase those storage options. However, I will say for me, I do have V90. I picked one up on Amazon for actually like not too bad of a deal. So I'm to the point where, and also for photography, I don't even use V90s. I have like V60s and V30s. So it's only for video that it's kind of compromised if you're not willing to go in on storage options. But I honestly think the megabits and everything, like the codecs that I shoot in, come out phenomenal. So I'm not too concerned. Not the cheapest camera on the market by any means. I think it's $3,200 if you're here in Canada. But you get like tremendous value out of it. So I'm not going to beak the price too much, especially with the price of the A7R5 that came out. I think that's just above $5,000. So I don't know. I still think this is a pretty wicked value. If you're saving $2,000, you're missing out on a lot of features. I know 8K and higher megapixel count, newer features. I think they have AI detect on the R5 now, but again, that's just above and beyond for me. So I'm loving this thing. Rolling shutter is a downfall, I know. Especially in Gerald Undun's video, he talked a lot about it, kind of that jello effect as you go left to right as you pan with this camera and video. Yep, it is noticeable, but again, for me, a lot of times I'm doing static shots anyway, so not a huge issue. 10 frames per second in 2022, is that enough when you're shooting stills? It's a compromise. Again, a lot of other cameras will offer higher frames per second. But again, keep in mind it's a true hybrid camera. So if you're a true hybrid shooter, it shouldn't affect you too much unless you are sports focused. And then though I love the flippy screen on this camera, the resolution could definitely be better, or just for the next iteration be upgraded. That's a little nitpicky. Okay, let's get to my defect. So the defect is, I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but it's actually like a lens mount defect. And it happens to me like probably, I would say, every 10 times I use this camera. So what happens is like when I go to my function menu, it shows that it's manual focus locked. And then I don't have autofocus capability or function working within the camera. So I figured out what it was. It's like, I don't know if it's, no, I do know. It's the lens mount, the E-mount on the actual camera body, because it happens with multiple lenses. So it's not actually like the mouth on the lenses. And I'm going to reach out to Sony before my 1-year warranty is up, because I want to know like what they have to say about it. I'd love for it to be fixed Fortunately for me, it's a quick fix. I take off the lens, screw it back on, and it solves the problem. Then I get autofocus back and the ability to switch between auto and manual focus. But it's a little bit scary because I spent a lot of money on this camera, and I just wanted to bring it up. I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys can tell me what's going on with it. But yeah, kind of hurting. And was just curious. All right, last thing is I have a lot of videos that I shot, like just kind of like short films with the A7IV in 2022 on my channel. So go ahead and check those out. I will leave them above and then in the end screen of this video. But if you just want to see the quality you can get out of it, it's pretty unreal. A lot of times I'm just color grading with phantom LUTs in logs. So it's pretty achievable to get like really high quality video out of this camera pretty much straight out of the box. There is some learning, but it's not a massive learning curve. I freaking love the thing. I would recommend it to anyone. If you can get by with that cons list that I talked about, man, like best bang for your buck if you like full frame sensors. I know the FX30 is a really good option. I said I'd talk about some of these new ones. So yeah, FX30, good option if you don't need full frame sensor. A7R5 is ridiculous. I love the thing, but I just think what you can get for value in the A7IV is probably a little bit better. And then for photography purposes, obviously, if you're upgrading from the A7R4, if you need a photography first camera, you're obviously going to go that route. Same thing, you're going to get the A7S III if you're video focused. And then the last one they just dropped was kind of a joke. I didn't ask for it. I don't think anyone asked for it, but the ZV-1F, I think it's called. I had the ZV-1 and I love the thing, but I just think like that was an unnecessary route to go. I love the ZV-E10 even more, and I think they should have built off that. But okay, I'm rambling now. Love you guys. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Thanks for being here, and check out my short films if you want using the A7IV, and then wish me luck on the warranty for this defect on the mount. But yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Matty out. Peace.